This is National Native News. I'm Antonia Gonzalez. The Canadian government has introduced a new law aimed at reviving and protecting Indigenous languages. As Dan Karpenchuk reports, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says the new bill is about strengthening Indigenous culture.
It's called Bill C-91, the Indigenous Languages Act. It was introduced in the Canadian Parliament by the Minister of Heritage and Multiculturalism. He added that many Indigenous languages in Canada are endangered. The law will support and promote those languages and provide the money to do that. It will also help federal government institutions make better use of Indigenous languages by providing interpretation when needed or having documents translated. It would also provide educational material, written lexicons and dictionaries, and permanent records of Indigenous languages. And it would create a new position, the Office of the Commissioner of Indigenous Languages, who would protect the languages and raise public awareness. The National Chief of the Assembly of First Nations, Perry Bellegarde, says the new law is a very positive step.
Studies have shown that when you're fluent in your language, you're more successful in school. You know who you are and where you come from. And more importantly, I've also stated that it's linked to the right to self-determination. We need our own languages, our own lands, our own laws, our own people, our own identifiable forms of government. So it's really vital to our survival as First Nations people.
The government said the proposed new law was a collaboration with Native people during more than 50 sessions across the country. But the National Group for Inuit People called it disappointing and symbolic because it does not address their right to speak their language. For National Native News, I'm Dan Karpenchuk.
Washington state lawmakers approved a proposal to improve voting on reservations. The bill allows tribal members to use their tribal IDs for voter registration and register with non-traditional street addresses. Additionally, tribes could request voter registration sites and ballot pickup and returns on tribal lands. The bill passed the Senate Wednesday. A companion bill is in the House. Cedar High School in Utah will retire its Indian mascot after a vote by the Iron County School Board this week. The Salt Lake Tribune reports the board voted 3-2 to remove the Redmen mascot. The Tribal Council of the nearby Paiute Indian Tribe of Utah reportedly did not take a public position on the issue, but met with the school board last month seeking a tribal liaison to the board and the hiring of a diversity specialist. Residents of tribal lands on the Northern Plains are being warned of more life-threatening weather Thursday night and Friday. A weather forecaster says there could be a reprieve for the weekend. South Dakota Public Broadcasting's Gary Ellenbolt has more.
Some wind chills on the Sisseton, Wahpeton, Oyate, and northeast South Dakota were in the 30 below zero range overnight. The city of Sisseton had a wind chill in the 70s below zero last week. Today, tribal lands belonging to the Sisseton, Wahpeton, Oyate, and Flandreau Santee Sioux tribe are under a blizzard warning through the evening. Wind chills could drop into the 40s below zero or colder overnight. But Jen Hacker with the National Weather Service in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, says the brutal temperatures may not be around for the weekend.
After we get through the secondary cold shot that comes through tonight into Friday, we actually do try to warm back up air temperatures at least up into the teens on Saturday, if that's considered warm for mid-February. And then we've got kind of a seesaw of temperatures, but still generally 10 to 20 degrees for highs through early next week.
Every reservation in the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Wisconsin have some kind of winter weather warning or advisory today. Those stretch into parts of Nebraska, Kansas, and Montana. For National Native News, I'm Gary Ellenbold.
And I'm Antonia Gonzalez.
National Native News is produced by Koahnic Broadcast Corporation with funding by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Support by PrairieEdge.com, proud to provide traditional and contemporary American Indian craft supplies from feathers, furs, and hides to conchos, fringe, shells, and beads in Rapid City or online at PrairieEdge.com. Wopila. Support by the University of New Mexico, the state's flagship research university and a welcoming and inclusive community of learners. UNM is a destination university for the nation's Native and Indigenous undergraduate, graduate, and professional students. More at unm.edu.
Native Voice One, the Native American Radio Network.